Hey folks, I just wanted to jump on very quickly at the start of this video, and I suppose first of all leave a little disclaimer. I've had permission both from a wonderful director and from Jackie herself to show you a little snippet from a video that Jackie actually uses in her talks in school. I just want to give a quick warning that this is a very uncomfortable watch. I'm crying telling you, it's heartbreaking, but I believe it's one of those situations where we all need to see this. So just a little warning, the next minute and a half or so will be uncomfortable to maybe younger viewers to maybe avert their eyes from it, but to the rest of us to just drink in the incredible and amazing Jackie Fox. I really hope you enjoy this. It's been an incredible honour to have this lady in my presence, and welcome to the first coffee with Gary with the amazing Jackie Fox.
I left the house at 3:20 and I got home at 4:20. I walked in and Nicole's 14-year-old brother was right beside me, and right in front of us off the banisters she had got the stepladder and the dog's lead, and she was hanging from the banisters into the hallway the minute you walk in, and I was trying to lift her up by the legs. I was lifting her up to try and get the weight off her neck. I screamed that loud, Lee didn't know what to do, and I said, take her down, just take her down. She was lying on the floor. I was begging her, I was saying, please Cole, please just hold on, don't go.
Foxy, huh? Look at Foxy. Foxy sitting in my kitchen. What are the fucking chances? Hello everyone, welcome to the very first Jackie Fox, the very first Coffee with Gary. Look, I've started this uppy, you know, but the folks at home would have just watched probably. Little disclaimer, me and Jackie are going to cry today, aren't we, bud? Yeah. It's going to happen, so don't worry about it. Alright, we're okay with it. So don't feel uncomfortable, rock it with us, and if you feel like crying yourself, guys, let it out, because you've just watched one of the hardest minutes of your life, I'm sure. So you know what? Shut up, Gary. Jackie Fox, thank you so much for coming to my kitchen and having a coffee with me.
Thank you.
Although she drinks tea. For fuck's sake.
Weak milky tea.
Milky tea, weak tea.
A nanny cup of tea.
So, thank you first of all, and thanks to Jerry. Is that the name of the chap who made the video?
Jerry.
Thanks so much, Jerry Walsh, for letting me show that snippet. I think you use that in your school, and we'll get to that, your thoughts. But Jackie, I suppose for anyone who's been living under a rock for the last few years, if you'd just like to introduce yourself, and maybe if you feel comfortable, just tell us a little bit about your story.
I'm Jackie Fox.
Go away. Thank God. sorry.
My story is, I just want to tell you about my daughter Nicole. Nicole took her own life at the age of 21. I have two boys at home, and Nicole's my only little girl, my only daughter. You know, what happened was over jealousy, just over pure jealousy. This one girl in particular wanted Nicole's best friend, who was a boy, and the only way she could get closer to this boy was to make friends with Nicole, and that's what she did. But when she realised that the boy didn't want to be with her and didn't want anything to do with her, she took it out on Nicole. It started off with little things, you know, little things that you kind of say, oh well, you know, Nicole used to just put it over her head and forget about it. But then things start to get worse. When it started off with two girls, one of them has since moved away to England and has admitted to me that what I'm going to tell you is just through jealousy only, just because she was jealous of what Nicole had. This main girl couldn't bully Nicole on her own because she was a coward. She had to form a different group, and she had one or two, but the group got bigger and bigger. So there would have been got to about 25 people against Nicole who'd done nothing on her. She was so gentle and kind, you know, all she wanted to do was go out and have a laugh, a dance, a few drinks. That's all she ever wanted to do, but that didn't happen. Nicole, when she'd be in the nightclub, she would go out to the smoking area with her friend, and these people started to put cigarette butts out onto her skin, and they'd stick the cigarette butt in her arms or her legs, and one of the girls threw the cigarette onto Nicole's foot and stubbed it out onto her, but they all said, "Oh, sorry, that was an accident, I didn't mean that." Another thing that happened, there was a flight of metal stairs in the nightclub, and one of them got Nicole by the hair and bounced her down each and every one of the steps till she got to the end. Nicole was only my height, she was only 5 foot, and she was only a little thing, you know, and she'd get up on the dance floor and she'd be dancing, and these people, no matter where she danced on the dance floor, they would come and dance beside her, but they would give her an elbow in the face or an elbow in the chest and knock her onto the floor and go, "Oh, sorry, that was an accident. We didn't see you there," you know. And one time Nicole was coming out of the bathroom in the nightclub, and one of the girls pushed her so hard into the corner of the table they dislocated her hip, and she was brought straight to the hospital. Another 2 girls made friends with her, but Nicole didn't realise that they were friends with the main girl that started this. So one night Nicole was up in her bedroom, and she was getting ready with these 2 girls, and one of them, who each have a child of their own, said, "Will we curl your hair, will we tongs your hair?" And Nicole said, "Yeah," but when they put the tongs up at the highest heat and started laughing, and they stuck the tongs to her skin, and they gave her a 5 or 6 inch scar on her arm. Nicole took an overdose in 2015.
I didn't know that, Jackie.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part of your story, sorry.
And I thought that was their worst nightmare, to find your daughter, but it was only the beginning of what was going to happen. I rushed her to the hospital, and myself and Nicole spent 4 nights in the hospital, but I remember the doctor saying to her, "Do you regret it?" And Nicole said, "Yeah." And the doctor says, "Oh, well, that's good." And she goes, "No, I regret it didn't work." And when you hear something like that, when you hear your daughter saying like that, the fear that just runs through you. When Nicole got out of the hospital, she was sent to CAMHS, and she cried and cried in front of the man that was talking to her, and he said that it's all part of life and it's just a phase you're going through. I'm sorry, but being physically abused
You've
like
nothing
that.
to be sorry for today,
Yeah.
Jackie. Can I just stop you there? You've nothing to be sorry for. You speak from the heart. This is an RTE. You say what you want. This is my YouTube channel. You say what you want.
Being physically abused like that is not part of people's lives or a phase anyone should have to go through. And they heard about Nicole's overdose, and I thought that would have stopped it, you know, but the main girl said, "Oh, Nicole took an overdose because of me," and then the other girl said, "No, it was because of me, and it was because of me." And it was like a trophy they were claiming, like, of who made Nicole feel like that she couldn't live past another day. These weren't happy with the physical abuse. They took it online then, and
Which I think is so much more dangerous in many ways, Jackie, isn't it? To become private then.
it does, and when they take it online, it gets into your head more than what physical abuse would. It just gets deeper and deeper into your head, and it's so hard to get back out of that. On the online, you know, you have all the apps like Snapchat and WhatsApp, and they made a group in WhatsApp, and obviously Nicole wasn't invited into the group, and they would share everything around, but they put a video up on WhatsApp, and it was a video of a girl whose face was blurred out, and that girl was with 3 men, but they put it all around saying that girl was Nicole.
That still turns my stomach.
You know, and they also, with the likes of Snapchat, you can put things up for 10 seconds and it disappears and
So
stuff,
dangerous.
but every day they told her to hang yourself, and everyone hates you, you'd be better off dead, no one wants you here, and you know, slit your wrists and everything. And they also sent her videos of a noose on how to hang yourself. You know, from my bubbly, lively, funny, beautiful, outgoing daughter, I could see her slipping away. was losing her confidence, she was losing that smile, that massive big smile that she always had when growing up. She stayed in her room a lot then, and
Isn't that the danger that we just talked about? Because cigarette butts on your fucking feet and things like that can be seen with your eyes. But poor Nicole, and I won't call her poor Nicole, she wouldn't appreciate that, I apologise for that. But Nicole did what a lot of these poor students that follow me as well do in this moment, where she kept it to herself. She kept the bullying, the online stuff, the stuff you can't see. It's so dangerous, Jackie, isn't it?
yeah, and it does the effects it has on you. It just once it gets into your head, it just gets so deep. It's so hard to get back out. When Nicole was in a room one night, she had got her nails and she had dug them so deep into her skin, so deep into her legs, so deep into her belly that she bled. And the most devastating time, every night Nicole would sit at the end of my bed, or I'd be in the bed with her, and we'd always talk, and she'd always say every night, she'd go, "Night, Mum, I love you." And I'd always go, "Night, Cocoa Pops, I love you too." And then I would hear her going into her room, and I'd hear her crying herself asleep, and she'd always wake up the next morning feeling just as sad as she did the night before. And one time I went into her room and she said, "Mum, I can't do this anymore. I can't take it. I don't want to be here anymore. But the only reason why I can't kill myself is because, Mum, I don't want to leave you heartbroken." And that's the type of person Nicole was. She wasn't thinking of herself. She was thinking of how I would be without her, because she was my best friend.
She is
She
your
was
best
a
friend.
partner in crime.
She is your best friend.
Yeah, you know, and we did everything together. She was a mammy's girl, and I'm so proud of her. So proud
She
of her.
has the most incredible mother. To be able to talk at all, to be able to articulate words at all about what you've just shared with these amazing people, it shows strength beyond strength, something that we've fallen out about. We have fallen out once or twice, me and you, haven't we?
No, he's fallen out with me.
I think it's so important for so many people to see this, to hear this. And I know you've said this so many times, you've told the story so many times on different media platforms. We speak about the responsibilities you and I have with school talks and how students follow us, and I know students are going to watch this video, and I want them to see the devastation that can be caused from bullying, that can be caused from not reaching out for help at the right time, and the devastation what suicide does to those that are left behind. Honest to God, I don't know how you're going to tell me something now. This next bit, guys, I just don't get this. I don't know how he did this, but it's fair to say that something lit a fucking fire on your arse. She's lovely arse, by the way. I might edit that out. I'm going to keep it in. Who knows? You went on what can only be called a crusade. And I've never been more... I've never been more proud and more honoured to sit in front of somebody who brought a fucking law into Ireland. Some little woman from, I'm sorry to call her a little woman, a lady from Clondalkin, who took on the Irish government and won. Would you mind telling me what this is about?
Yeah, I don't want anyone. First of all, how I went about bringing the law in. I had to make a decision one night. Well, every night I slept in Cole's bed, and this particular night I was that close to wanting to be with Nicole, because I was here and my family and my boys were on this side, and Nicole was somewhere else where she shouldn't be. She should be with her mum, and
You thought the best thing to do was to go and see her.
because I needed to see her smile, I needed to hold her, I needed to hug her, I needed to tell her how much I love her, and but you know, I'm glad I didn't make that decision, because suicide is definitely not the right answer. And even though it might look that, like, I'm glad to be talking to you here today, but I am glad I'm here today, and I'm making a difference. I don't want anyone else to to be a victim of these horrible, nasty people, and I don't want any other family going through the devastation.
Which is why you
that
went
we're
to
going.
took on the government, Jackie.
Yeah.
You took on the government.
I did, and it was so hard because at the start they weren't listening to me. They just seen this little person coming in, and I did get snickers off them. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't really getting anywhere, and I had to change that. And this is where social media is great. You know, it has its great sides, but it also has its
very
really
important to say
dark
that, Jackie.
sides.
Thanks for saying that. It's very important to say that. Yeah.
You know, it can be great, but
It's been given to the hands of idiots sometimes.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
it can
I'm
be-
sure when Mark Zuckerberg, whatever his name was, created Facebook, he certainly didn't create it for hate. But because it was free to download and anyone can have it, if you have hate in your system, isn't it a great little platform for a brave fucker sitting behind a computer screen to have a go at you?
Yeah. And the fact that then there's no legislation in Ireland to
There wasn't.
there wasn't, there is now, but there was nothing there to protect vulnerable people. But it doesn't only affect vulnerable people. You can be the strongest willed person in the world, and these people can still get into your head. Or
You spoke about in my second book where I got trolled online over my mum after the Late Late Show. I'd like to think I'm strong. Knocked me for fucking six, man. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
And they know that.
Yeah.
They know they can get into your heads, and that's
Sorry
the
for
worst part.
interrupting. Can you imagine, just a quick one that I actually apologise for interrupting?
I know, yeah, what's wrong with you? You're just being nice.
You don't recognise this
Being
guy.
nice on the
You don't
camera.
recognise me. Sorry, please, because I really want to hear this fight you took on this
I
woman.
wasn't getting anywhere, so the only way I could get through it was to get through to the Irish people to help me, to back me up on it. And I did use social media. I spread Nicole's story around. I went on on TV, radio station, newspaper, everywhere I could get to put it out, and the amount of support that I got.
Actually, we have a mutual friend who deserves a huge mention here, don't we? Mr. Noel Boylan.
He-
Mr. Noel Boylan, folks. I know there's many of you out there might listen to his show. He does it and then get over it. He's a shock jock. That's what he does. Jackie, what's he like as a human?
Do you know, he is human, and that's the difference.
And he turned up at one of your marches.
He never went to a march ever in
Not with microphones and radios
No,
and cameras. He
because-
walked up.
Yeah, he walked.
He walked up and had a chat with you.
Yeah.
With no fanfare.
No, absolutely not. He
He's a
wasn't
diamond.
there. He was there because
You're the diamond
he wanted-
Boylan.
Yeah, definitely. He was there because he wanted to be. He's fantastic. He had
And would have helped, I assume, in spreading your word.
Oh.
Because this is what you needed. And this is why I'm proud to be Irish, by the way. Because what are the Irish public like when they need them?
Oh, do you know what? Niall Boylan especially, he shared it constantly. He was always sharing it, and he's always kept in touch. And the Irish people, they shocked me because, not that, I've never in this position to need Irish people behind me, but when I got everyone, it was just like, I had a protest outside the Leinster House, and that was great, and all the media was there, but the march that Niall Boylan was at, there was hundreds of people there, and even people just doing their shopping, and they were clapping as we were going by, but they also joined the end of the queue as well. And the support, but the sharing
How did that make you feel, Jackie, when you were standing, say, on O'Connell Street or wherever you were, as, I told you I'd cry every now and then, I'm sorry, as just a woman who, and I'm sorry, I keep saying just a woman, you're going to clap me across the face. I mean, you know I'm not fucking sexist, I'm the most unsexist man.
There's a gap here.
Yeah, she might be small, but she's feisty. But just as this lady who has endured and suffered at the hands of fools and horrible people and has lost everything, and you're fighting and you're going at this, and then you're standing in your hometown and there's people clapping, there's people joining. Could you give me and maybe the guys watching at home, what were you thinking at that moment? How, did you feel pride? Did you feel overwhelmed?
It made me feel like I wasn't on my own, and that was a huge difference, because when I first started off, it was only me trying to take on the TDs and standing there watching people joining in, sharing everything. I just felt that I wasn't on my own, that people cared and they wanted to help.
We're going to have to take a little break, folks. I think we're about able. But what I will say, to go into the interlude of this one, is I don't think I've ever been more proud to be Irish. We're a tiny little dot in this country and this world, aren't we? And listen to that. You know, when it's needed and when we need each other, we're always there. We just need to take 5 minutes. Give us 5 seconds, okay? Just an a toilet break. Jackie's been down to piss herself, so well, we're getting to that. We were just speaking there about how this is incredibly strong, although you don't like to refer to yourself as being strong. A woman who had lost everything decided to take on a nation, to take on a government. We were talking about the marches, how Niall turned up. I know that you just said to me off camera there that you wanted to thank everyone who turned up at the marches. So
yeah, no, 100%. I wouldn't have been able to do it without the support of everyone.
And online as well, you were saying the amount of comments and love.
Sharing, and I didn't realise so many people are going through the same.
Isn't that the shocking thing?
Yeah, so many people could identify.
In your
my
world,
story.
at this time and at that time, I'm always saying this to people, like, fuck everyone else, you know, because that was your cross, it was your problem. And it shows, and we're going to get to all of this, how much empathy you have for other people and how much love you have for other people. And that's the reason why I wanted you here today. We'll get to that. But anyway, you take on a government. Yeah. You literally rock up to the doll, this tiny little lady, kick its fucking gate and say, "Oi, I want to tell you something, you better fucking listen." Yeah. Who was the first TD that kind of listened to you and decided, hang on, you need help and I'm going to try and help you?
The main one, James Brown was fantastic. But I had a meeting in the AV room, and you know, they all at the end of it they stood up and said, instead of all working in separate parties, can we all work together? James Brown, I did give him horrible abuse at no, not horrible abuse, but I told him what was on my mind at the first protest. And I didn't think I'd ever see him again. But he turned up in that meeting, and he's been not only TD, he's been a friend now.
This is a lovely part of your story.
He's a good guy. The main person that could change this, that took me on and cared, was Brendan Howlin from Labour.
Can I just say I was calling him Brian Downing? Brian Downing's our big brother, isn't he? Jesus Christ, I know my politics. Yeah, he's lovely. And he is a wonderful man.
He is. And Brendan Howlin, he took me on. I remember sitting in his office one day, myself and my friend, and we cried, but I spilled out everything. And I said to him, there's two things that I want, and one is a law pass so other people don't go through what we're going through, or the family, what we're going through now. And the other thing was, I have to give Nicole a legacy. Nicole has to be mentioned in the law.
This was the most important factor for you, and that's okay to say that. The secondary thing for you was to help everybody else. It's not on your shoulders to save everybody else, but yet you did. We'll get to that, but you I think it's beautifully honest that the main drive you had was to
get Nicole's legacy,
to have her name forever and ever there.
Yeah.
And that's what drove the whole lot.
Yeah.
So I think that's beautiful honesty in that moment. You are so glad that this is going to help other people, but it doesn't change a fucking thing for you.
No, it does. It's a huge. It is a
I love that honesty, Jackie Fox. Thank you so much for saying that. I think that's beautiful honesty. I think it's beautiful honesty. Keep going.
I didn't want Nicole ever to be forgotten, and I said to my mum while I was fighting that, I'll make sure that she didn't die just because of these jealous people. I'll make sure that she was never going to be forgotten and that she was going to make a difference. Not me, the one going in marching and stuff, no, not me. It's Nicole's name. Coco's name is the one that everyone will know, not mine. I never wanted her to be forgotten, so that was huge to have.
So an incredible moment that happened then. I mean, I think it's fair to say it was a 3-year battle. Ups, downs, lefts, rights. I know that you had so much help from Brendan and from other guys, and you'd have great days and bad days, and then you had a shit day. And if you don't mind me bringing you to that shit day, was when I was going around the corner to get my hair cut and you rang me, and you said, I'm not going to call it Coco's Law. I felt my own world coming crashing down, and could only imagine what you were feeling. A lot of people wouldn't agree with what I did next, but I was losing you, Pat. So I did what I had to do, and I was horrible to her. And I would have lost you as a friend, and I would have took that on the chin. But I knew you were going to give up. I was horrible to her. I said, come on, give up. Come on, that's the fucking girl, yeah, well done. And I'd love you to tell them what you said when I got off the phone to yourself.
Yeah, I was so upset, and I was afraid, I was scared of all the campaigning I did, and that I can be just whipped away in a second. And yeah, Gary was.
There was a method to my madness.
Yeah, there was, but he hung up on me, and I just said, "You arsehole," and I said, "I am never ever going to answer the phone to him again. He's done. I'm never going to pick up the phone to him again." So what I did then was I said, "Right, I'll show him. I affect that."
That's what I wanted
yeah,
to do.
I know. And I said, "Well, fuck that. I'm going to
Fuck me.
prove it." Yeah.
Forget it,
And
yeah.
I got on. I rang Brendan Howland and I said, "What the hell?" I rang March for Justice. I rang the people
You were amazing
that
for
were-
March for Justice.
Oh,
Just
do you know
incredible.
what?
Yeah.
You know, they fantastic. And within minutes I had Brendan Howland and I had March for Justice. I had Zoom meetings organised.
You're welcome.
I had everything. All because of this arsehole. That I was never going to answer the phone to again. But you know what? It was the turning point, because you did make me. Do you know, if you didn't hang up and be so hard on me, I would have just sat and cried.
I didn't take any pleasure now. We talked about this privately.
But I wouldn't have.
For anyone out there who thinks I'm an absolute prick, Jackie and me talked about, we both have a lot of yes people in our life that just agree with everything we say. And so that's no use to you. And I just didn't feel that me going, "Oh my God, that's terrible, Jackie, that's so sad," was going to help her. And on top of that, and I'm not afraid to admit this to you, I thought I was going to lose her. So I didn't want that.
So I just felt that
Enough about me. Tell me about Miss McEntee. This is the bit that I know I've personal insight into this, and I'm fascinated, and I really want you guys to hear this. So we're going to just do a timeline for you here.
Yeah.
We've talked about Coco's Law being the main reason, that fucking name was your drive, right? And then incredibly that you are glad, you're not a machine, you are glad that it's going to help other people, and well done. You talked about knocking on the gates of Lensa House and saying, whatever, listen up to me, and then we talked about these TDs that have jumped on and helped. Also March for Justice and all the Irish public, and how everyone shared and helped you as well. Then they get told right at the 11th hour, when Gary Cunningham was an arsehole to you, that no, the law's been passed. But it's going to be called Section 25. Actually, what is this section, Jackie? Do you know? Is there a section?
The actual law?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too long.
It's a big one, isn't it? So in other words, what you fought for was about to be called
Yeah.
right?
That no one
I meant fuck all about Nicole.
Yeah.
At this time, our Minister for Justice was what we can both now agree is a fantastic lady by the name of Miss Helen McEntee.
Yeah.
And I think, am I right in saying that Miss Helen McEntee asked you for me?
Yeah, I said after I got off the phone, after calling you an arsehole, I actually recorded a video that Helen McEntee was on Facebook, and I recorded a video, and I sent her this message on Messenger, and I did say to her that if you do this to me after me campaigning for Nicole's name, for Nicole's legacy, if you do that to me, that you are going to put the final nails in my coffin, because I felt like I couldn't keep Nicole here, that I let her down, and I wasn't going to let her down, and this, I was not going to let her down.
Jackie, I need to stop you there. Jackie, there's about 4 people, I was going to say the other people that are watching. I was going to say hundreds, and I was like, Gary, who the fuck do you think you are? There's people watching this now that are screaming at the screen. It's not your fault, Jackie. Moving on. Go. So you're in.
I sent her
You sent her the video.
the video, and she texted me back straight away, and
Wow.
she said, "Can I ring you after work?" And I said, "Okay." But then that day, she got her secretary to ring me and said, "Actually, I want a meeting with you." And
Wow.
yeah, and straight away, because of you, straight away again I got on to March for Justice. I got on, and we had Zoom meetings. We had to prepare everything, and this was 10 days before everything. Like all the ministers, everyone was calling the Coco's Law all the way up, and 10 days before, Helen McEntee was taking Nicole out of everything, taking Coco out of everything. And I did go in to the meeting with her. She was in trouble that week, and everyone was saying she was the ice queen and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I
I
remember all that, yeah.
was saying, how am I going to melt this ice queen? I thought I'm going to have a battle on my hands here.
It was a Tuesday. And the reason I know that is I can't say why, But there's a very special lady who I hope is watching this. We sent her a little video a minute ago, and that's Miss Vinita Wilson. Hey, Vinita. I was heading out to her that day, and you rang me. And I remember saying to you, just look at her, Jackie, just look her in the eye. Just make eye contact. And when you get that eye contact, don't break it.
When we went in,
This is amazing.
meeting, she was very stern looking and real meant business, you know. But that week she had also announced that she was pregnant. So what I did was, when I went into the meeting, I brought in photographs of Nicole. And Helen McEntee was sitting where you were, and I laid the photographs out on the table, and the first one was a baby scan. And I said to her, this is where you are at the moment. This is what we're, you know.
This is your stage.
This is your stage.
Your child.
The next one was a picture of Nicole's christening. And then the next one was a picture of Nicole's communion. And then the last one, a picture that I never seen or will never ever look at, was a picture of Nicole in her coffin. And I said, this is where you are now.
And this is where I am.
And I said, this is where I am. And I said, do you want to end up? Do you want to be in the same position that I am in? Helen McEntee had a loss in her family. Her dad took his own life due to online bullying, so she had got that connection as well, you know. And that Ice Queen, that person I thought was such a nice queen, broke. And she cried a number of times in that meeting.
I think that's so refreshing to hear that.
Yeah.
We see these politicians and they're so one-dimensional sometimes. And
Yeah, no.
that's so powerful to hear that.
At the very end of the meeting, I had two guys in with me, Trevor and Finbar from March for Justice, and they were talking to. She had all her legal team, you know. And then
It's like the three musketeers and the nation's army.
Yeah,
you know,
and
it's real David and Goliath stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, and you
amazing,
think that they're higher than you, that they're above, they know more, whatever. That's
I did say that to you.
Yeah.
I said we all shite inside Marshall.
Yeah. When the two lads were talking to the rest of the team, myself and Helen McEntee, there wasn't a sound between us. We just looked at each other and it seemed for ages, and we locked eyes, we didn't even move, and she just nodded her head, and I just said, thank you. Didn't know what she was going to give me, didn't know what she was going to do, but I knew she was on my side.
Take a deep breath. Can you please tell these ninjas, first of all, I think it's fair to say, if you had a fanfare, well, you can throw in a fanfare bit of music now. We have a law passed in this country that's called.
It's
Don't mind that.
Yeah,
it can be referred to as.
Yeah, it's Coco's Law. It is known as Coco's Law. You can use the other long.
I hope you're clapping. I hope you're leaving that fucking sitting down in your work job on the bus, yupping like that, right? But I don't think Miss Helen McEntee was finished with you there, was she? She gave you Coco's Law. What else did she give you?
She gave
Where do you hear this?
Nicole a memorandum. I didn't bring the memorandum with me. Nicole has her own memorandum in the law to honour her name, and they said to honour her mother for fighting the law, and her name, Nicole Fox, and at the end of it says this law can also be referred to as Coco's Law.
Ladies and gentlemen, I could nearly end the video there on a fucking high, like.
She's also in the Irish statute books, and when President Reagan signed the law in, she's in the Irish statute books forever, long after everyone's gone.
Forever?
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
You did exactly what you said you were going to do, and then Helen McEntee gave you the cake, and then put loads of stuff on the top of it.
She's also when anyone that's going to college, it's Coco's Law is going to be in the school curriculum where everyone will learn Coco's Law, and Webwise is making a book for schools about Coco's Law.
Let's talk about what we do really quickly. I've taken it upon myself to help Jackie in any way I can, and I wreck our head a lot. But I've also always Jackie needs someone to agree with her sometimes. A lot of the time, actually. Typical bloody woman. God, I'm very sexist today. What the fuck's going on with me? I don't know. I love women. That's even sexist, isn't it? There's people that watch this segment right up to now, and even though they know the story, they might know everything about it. There's this sort of empowerment. But then you go home to your gaff and you climb into your bed with Nicole's pyjamas, am I right?
Or a housecoat that
A
we
housecoat,
found,
I apologise.
her in.
You talk to Lee, your son, your beautiful son. What's your other son's name?
Dean.
Dean.
Yeah.
And you, Lee, and Dean still don't have Nicole. And I think that's very important for people to realise that. You help, you have set in motion the apprehension and the prevention of online trolling and bullying. This young woman from Clondalkin, this lady from Clondalkin, right? You have put in place a system that will protect the vulnerable online. You have done all this to keep your child's legacy and her name alive forever, and you've done all of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't change a fucking thing for you. And people need to realise that sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, Jackie Fox, I'm interrupting you, because I'm about to tell the camera why you're actually here today. And this is so risky, and this is so fucking nerve-wracking, and believe it or not, this is why Jackie's nervous. Not because of what she's just done. What she's just done, I can tell you now, has taken strength that I've never witnessed, and it's a very, very real thing to be near this energy right now. I love this woman, and I've been following her from anonymously for so long, and the only reason that I reached out and we spoke is because I put her in my last book as a real person, and I asked her permission to do that, and I did that because I gave that book away for free. And I've always told you, if that book had been published, I wouldn't have put you in it, because I would never want to make money off your child's name. Me and Jackie became really close very quickly, and I took it upon myself to be there for you, and I'm there for you every day.
That's it.
Don't worry about that, right? I know a different side to you, Jackie Fox. I know the funny one, I know the mad one. She's a fucking head case. So when I did this coffee with Gary, how could we not talk about what we just spoke about? But I had an idea. Quick disclaimer for you guys. My microphone's broke this morning. We had no light. And now the camera keeps fucking stopping. But I know what I was saying there was that I know this different side to Jackie Fox. I know a completely different side to her. We've just spoke about how you've done all this, how you got Coco's Law in, and everybody who knows Jackie knows that person. And when I asked Jackie to do this over the last couple of days, and in fact Jackie's here since 10 o'clock this morning, it's now nearly 2 o'clock, so we've only started videoing a while ago. We had to talk a lot, and it was quite emotional. But I'm doing something I know is a bit risky, but what I'm doing is I want to try and show all of you amazing guys that follow me the Jackie I know as well, the behind the scenes Jackie, the private Jackie. Because guys, let me tell you something about her. She's fucking hilarious. She's mad. She's a slaggy little fuck. She's so much love and care and kindness. So the pace of this video is about to change, and I asked Jackie permission for this, and it's not, you know, it's not about me not wanting to talk about Nicole. I'm her biggest fan outside of your family. I adore her. It's about me wanting to show the world. Who do I think I am? It's about me wanting to show me ma. And maybe my brother. And Fitzer. She was having the Fitzer this morning.
Oh, yeah,
he's dead. Yeah, he's a really big fan of yours, you know. He, as a father himself, he gets it, you know. But I wanted to try to show everyone this Jackie that I'm going to show you now. So I know that, you know, I know you said that I helped you, right? And I appreciate that, but I don't feel that I did anything that I wouldn't do for anyone I love, and I love you, Jackie, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I followed you anonymously for so long, and then I reached out and put you in the book, blah blah blah, and we talked about that. And I thank you for telling me I helped you, but I don't think I do. I just...
No, 100%. You're right what you said about yes people in my life, and a lot of people don't want to upset me, and you don't have that fear at all. Sometimes it's scary.
Don't say that, Foxy. Shut up!
But without that pushing.
She bought me this. Quirky genius.
Without that pushing that you gave me, it's just, you know, I would have been back in January when I lost Nicole. I know I hadn't got it in me. I existed, not lived. and I only existed to bring in the law. I didn't know anything else. I want to be happy. I want to be the person. I'll never be the person I used to be, but I don't want to be this person. But it's you that's bringing me out through this, and you believe in me, and. You know, even though I wreck your head, and you still come back and you bring me down.
Okay, relax. I don't get embarrassed, you fucking shite bag.
You know,
Get over.
if anyone that has Gary Cunningham in their corner will never ever fail. You know, they'll always pull through.
Right, okay.
Gary.
Job done, Foxy. Well done.
You know, I could say so much more.
Please don't. I'm meant to be fucking strong in this one, pal. I'm meant to be the interviewer. Notions is what I have, isn't it? The world is watching. I'm the interviewer. What a fucking shite bag.
That shite bag saved my life, and it's still continuing to walk with me and make. Not only do I believe in him and what he does, but he believes in me, and he's making me believe in myself.
Right, okay. I have to stop on you. Mother of divine Jesus Christ, is this emotional or what? Right, so what I wanted to do, Jacqueline. Sorry, let's not be rude. Jackie. Did call it Jacqueline, yeah. Thank you for that. I can't believe how uncomfortable I got there. And I just want to explain that to you, that it's not fucking about me, man, it's about you. But my God, I just literally turned that camera off and was only short of wearing the face off you. I mean, it was just, I hope the life forever. And she's tiny, lads, she's tiny. Jackie, I know it's gonna go for this. I want to try and show the world a difference with Jackie Fox, right? So in the top of my mind I was like, how do they fucking start this? And I just knew that Jackie, like, something tells me you are fucking wild when you were younger, right? And I don't know what it is, and I know that you say Nicole's mini-me, and geez, not that Nicole was wild, but Nicole was good crack, prankster maybe. So I mean, the top question that comes to my mind, right, and this is, I want to see, let people see this side of Jackie Fox, right? Yeah, I might try and embarrass you a little as well, right? But can you tell me, like, can you remember, right, the first time you got grounded by a man and what was that over? What did you do?
Well, first of all, I was grounded half my childhood. You know, I always say I was a good kid. You know, I was, but I know my mum and dad and my brothers and sisters would have been different.
Yeah, okay.
No, definitely not agree. But yeah, you know, I did the things that I didn't do anything bad or malicious or anything, and but I did drink a lot. When I was 14. Yeah, when I was 14, yeah, you know, we'd sneak the drink out of the houses or whatever. We'd scrape up money and get someone to go in and get the drink for us, the usual. But I couldn't go. I'm a shy drinker, and even now, I like to.
You drink one bottle of Blue Wicked, am I right? Give it over you, will you? Okay, I know I'm coming alcoholic, but come on, like.
I'm.
There's nothing in this anymore. She doesn't even have a fucking tea. Look,
coffee day with Gary.
Jesus Christ, and she doesn't drink fucking coffee. So you're 14,
yeah.
You're out there skying a few drinks.
Oh yeah, and
would it be fair to say you were pissed?
Oh,
so you were just grounded for being drunk, was it?
No, when I go in and I'd be falling all over the place, and I went in one day and I bounced into the telly.
The telly?
Yeah, and I knocked it over.
Oh my God.
And then you had all those moments where you think you're great with your friends, like, oh, you're well able to handle your drink, and then you puke all over. My mum always had to sneak me in, so my dad wouldn't catch me, and she'd have to get me up the stairs and undress me and get me into bed, and I would go, oh, I get sick, you know what I mean. But a lot of times there's a window in the landing, and when you get out the window, it leads you onto the garage. I used to sneak out the window in the landing, and I've been gone on for ages thinking it was great, but then after a little while, I turned around with my dad, Jacqueline! And that's when you call me
Well,
Jacqueline.
I call you Jacqueline. That sounded makes sense now. I apologise.
It reminds me
Brings it right back to
that. My dad only called me that when I was in trouble.
Oh, Jackie, I mean, again, just thank you. It's so refreshing. And this is what I get on the phone, guys, when I'm talking to her. Yes, we talk about Nicole all the time, every day. But we also talk about, no, we don't talk about this is new to me, but we talk about fun stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember, leads me on to my next thing, because I was always fascinated, and one of my biggest passions in life, probably besides life, is music. As you know, and I think we were getting to know each other a little bit. And I asked her there, and I would love you to tell you now, so what music are you into? This is really cool. Noel Cunningham, I hope you're listening. Who do you listen? Who do you love?
Not who you said it anyway.
No, we'll get to that in a minute, right? Folk, I'm in trouble here.
So,
but who do you listen to?
Right, I
couldn't believe this.
Okay, I first of all, I hate the music that's in today. It's just horrendous.
we're such old fogies.
Yeah,
it's not music, Jackie. It's not music.
All that rapping that the boys play, and it just does my head in. And no, I'm real 80s music. I loved Madness. I was a real tomboy.
You're an embarrassment. UB40, I believe.
UB40. Madness, wow. UB40. I like Bob Marley as well.
Let me tell you something, folks. If it could go wrong this morning, it went wrong this morning, so don't worry about the edits. So what we were talking about there was the music, Madness, UB40, Noel Cunningham, and then he said the 80s as well. You love the 80s. Not the Osmonds that I said you were into. I said she was into the fucking Osmonds. I asked her, "Are you mad with the Osmonds?" So I put 90 years on her. But I think I got a snapshot from your grounding when you were young and banging into things. My God, I got this snapshot that you were a little bit wild, a little bit mad like that, and that also I think Nicole had a bit of a kind of a wild, not a wild side, but. I've had a divilment, and I've asked your permission for this, guys. I know what's coming, but. Would you please tell these wonderful ninjas, all 6 of them, about Tinder and Nicole, please? What they do is.
Yeah, Nicole, she always wanted me to be happy. I split up. I broke up from my marriage, and I didn't want to be with anyone.
Of course.
The atmosphere lifted completely out of the house, you know. And
yeah.
I was enjoying my kids. All I wanted to be was with my kids, and I was happy with that. But Nicole wasn't happy with me being on my own. She wanted me to be happy. She wanted me to meet someone.
So she took your own initiative.
Yeah, she did, and she went ahead and downloaded Tinder without me knowing, and she was swiping by. I'm sure she was going, yep. Skip. But she was pressing the heart or whatever you press on it, and I was getting notifications and stuff, and I'm going,
Who's John?
What? And she confessed to me, and she told me. So we did sit down beside each other, and I go, you can get that off straight away. I'm not doing that. And she go, but look, man, what do you think of him? And I go, like, well, he's okay. And she pressed the thing, like, you know, to agree, or if I didn't like him, she'd swipe. And then I said, don't, just get rid of that one. I actually don't know. No, it's different phone. She probably didn't even. I didn't even.
There's still some man out there waiting for you to get back to him.
No.
You know, I think what's wonderful, Jackie, is today has been about exploring a different side to you. The camera keeps cutting out. We've had so many problems, but we don't care, do we? No. She's very patient. You know, we've obviously dealt with the story that everyone knows about you. And then we took it upon ourselves to try and shine a light on this Jackie that I know and love. And I just want to say at this moment, you're a fucking rock star. And the way that you're doing this today, I know you were terrified. She was more afraid today to talk about Jackie Fox than she was to talk about the saddest thing in her life. And I think that gives you a huge snapshot into how incredible this lady is. You wouldn't just mind telling the folks at home about the man who lived across the road from you, the single guy, Nicole again. What a legend.
Yeah, he's, like, in case he is watching, he's a lovely man.
Of course he's a lovely man.
A lot older than me as well, and he used to come over and say, do you want me to cut your grass for you and stuff? Do you ever cut the grass?
I love that line. I'm going to use that.
But I never even, that didn't even dawn on me, do you know, and I go, yeah, grand or whatever, like, and he'd be cutting the grass, but then he'd be doing other stuff as well. But Nicole said, man, would you not go out with him? No. But when he did he come over and ask me out, and I said, I stood your name.
I didn't know what to say.
And I was like, oh, I'm going out with someone, even though it wasn't. And he said, oh, well, you know, if it ever finishes, you know, if you ever break up, you know, we'd go out for dinner. I'm like, yeah. And I was in my head, I was going, but Nicole was saying, would you not, Mum, would you not? And I go, no. And at this stage, all the neighbours, all the people around knew that he was asking me out, and you could see if he comes across the road to cut my grass.
You know, they'd fix your pipes.
They'd be like, they're like flare pots in the window. Like, you know,
the torn quitters.
Yeah.
What the fuck's a torn quitter? So this is just so wonderful. Jackie, something that I'd like to say, because this is all about finding out about the other side of Jackie Fox. Jackie, would it be fair to say that if I was to make you laugh quite a lot now, that there's every chance that you'd piss yourself? So, fun fact about Jacqueline. Jackie literally can piss herself when she laughs. She literally pisses herself laughing. And I love you for having the fucking balls to say, this is the real Jackie Fox today. You piss yourself laughing. I'm
the proper definition of piss yourself laughing.
Yes! I feel like I'm going to now. Alright, Jackie. Jackie, look, we're coming towards the end of this incredible day that I've spent with you. God love her, she's here fucking half the day. You know, what I want to say, Jackie, is I want to talk about something very important, actually. Something that me and Jackie share in common, besides the fact that we both lost a daughter, is that we go into schools and we do talks. And I don't want you to give anything away, but for any teacher that doesn't realise who you are, can you just explain to me that you go into schools and you give a talk now, Jackie, and this is what you kind of do? You go all over the country, Jackie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've been everywhere, but I've still so much talks to do. It's not only in schools, colleges, youth clubs, youth reach, community centres.
No name club. Great buzz. Yeah.
Football clubs.
Wow.
I did,
wow, that's amazing.
A huge one, yeah. On one of the Zooms I had, a load of football members.
How do you find the Zoom talks? I found them very. There's not enough connection, isn't there?
The energy's not there. You need to be able to talk to people face to face, you know, to know what they're feeling, or you know, the Zoom, it was okay.
And it worked during pandemics and everything, but it's not the same as being in a room. I've been in a room with this lady today, and for such a small little lady, stop saying fucking little lady, I sound such a condescending prick, I apologise. For such a small and height woman, you're a force of nature, Jackie Fox. So please, if you're a teacher out there, a principal, a youth reach worker, a football club owner, anything at all, I'll have Jackie's details, will all be in the comments or in the section below. You can find her. Do yourself, your school and the students a favour and reach out to this woman and have her come and talk. And I just want to say something, and Caroline from No Name, I know you're watching as well, it takes the life out of these talks, don't they?
Oh, it
drains you, trust me.
Because I was doing the Zoom, it was a bit easier, because when you get on,
bedroom,
I'm in my pyjama,
from here down your ankles,
I don't know any difference, but when you're finished, you're still in your safety zone, you're still in your home, you know. But going to talks after doing a few talks this week, even it's just.
And you stand there with your book, which is just. I can't even believe you do that.
I always do that, but it does. It just drains the life where you can't even talk when you're finished. And then it's not that. Say if I go to Cork or Kerry, it's the driving down. You're doing the two talks or whatever, and then driving home, and it's endless. And Google Maps, I get lost. Anyway, so it's an extended drive.
We were talking about this, me and Jackie and a male and female and Mr. Bean, we just were klutzes and we forget things. And I think as well, Jackie, I mean, I get trained from doing my talks and I'm worried about them, and that's, I take on board what I feel some of these students are going through. Your training is coming from speaking about your daughter.
It's reliving.
You have to relive it every single time, and I'm sure you'll all agree. Again, Jackie Fox, that takes strength. Beyond strength in my eyes. Jackie will not admit to herself that she's strong, and I understand that. But you've got to listen to Joe Public, all of us. That we see the strength that you don't see. And I think this is a lovely way to wrap up today, Jackie. I'm going to press stop and we're going to do this again, right? But there's something that I need to say to you, if that's okay. So just give me 1 second. The first thing I want to say again, Jackie Fox, Jacqueline Foxy, is thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't think this was going to happen like this. I want to say thank you for telling us the truth about Nicole's story. I want you thank you for sharing an insight into the fight that you wouldn't give up on, and that you won. It's so David and Goliath, it's unbelievable. You've wrote yourself into history, Jackie, and you've also wrote your child into history. And you said to me that all you ever wanted to do was to do right by your children. I know that Lee and Dane would be behind me now going, Gar, she's great. And I know Nicole is smiling down on you now with my daughter Megan and saying, Ma, you smashed it. Because you did, Jackie Fox, you smashed it. And every single solitary day you continue to smash it. So all I want to say is this: thank you for your honesty, but thank you for dropping the wall, dropping the veil a little bit and letting us in. Because I know you're going to agree with me. Isn't she fucking great? Isn't she some energy? I think she's afraid to show that sometimes. And that's what we're working on together. And you helped me so much. You need to know that. You helped me so much. So I hope that today, shut up you. I hope that today, oh my God, when you look back on this video, and people will hopefully, when you share it, will share comments, that you drink them in. Because I think people are going to be so happy, the people who follow you, who have followed your story and supported your story and who love you and who think you're great, have seen the 14-year-old, they've heard the 14-year-old knocking the fucking telly over, the woman who literally pisses herself laughing, the girl whose daughter and mother bond was so strong that her daughter put her on Tinder. I'm sorry, but that is the coolest story in the world. Thank you so much for doing that, Jackie. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for doing coffee with Gary. Thank you for doing coffee with Gary with me. And I wish you nothing but a beautiful life of happiness. And I'm telling you now, Jackie Fox, you're going to be fucking happy if it fucking kills me. So with all that said,
can I just say something really
Yeah,
quick as well? I believe when Nicole snuck off on me, I do call her my little sneak off her, but when she snuck off, yeah, some people you expect to be around and they're not. But I think I know I definitely meet people for a reason in your life, and you're one of them. And I know for a fact that I could not have done any of this without Nicole. And even in your life, I know Megan has guided you through and put you on the path that you're here right now. And to have
each other now.
To have Nicole and Megan
looking after us.
We couldn't ask for.
We're quite lucky, aren't we?
Yeah.
She spoils me books, Jackie. I sometimes, how do you sort of write a chapter and I say, I wonder what Megan would have thought of that, you know?
We couldn't ask for two better angels to guide us where we are.
I believe you want me to sign fucking books.
I have, do you know, and I only said this to him a few minutes ago.
Actually, do you know what? I'll sign them off the camera though.
Right, joys of joys and life after joy. Do you know, everyone, and I mean a lot of my friends have bought them already. Everyone has to read these. They're
plug away, girl. Plug away.
They're funny. They're inspirational. They're sad, and there's a bit of everything in it, but 100%.
The chocolate Fitzer as well, he's dead, didn't he?
What?
I imagine I write a book about fucking my life and it all becomes about bleeding him.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I think it was a game changer for you, a life changer for you. But as I said, to have Megan beside you, guiding you on the right track of what you're doing now for people is just. You know, you put me up there, you do, but you're higher.
What are you doing right now?
You know, the two of us walk off each other, and you're just such an inspiration.
So,
these books definitely.
Thank you. I'm just mindful of time. I'm so sorry about that because I don't want that fucking thing to run out us again. But I'm gonna leave it with this, and I hope this helps you. This isn't for them. This is for me and you. To go through what you've been through. To be still sitting here and fighting the good fight, because it's a fight every day for you, and I know that. And to have the capacity to say such beautiful things about another human being when you have the right to tell everyone to fuck off and leave you alone. And leave the fuck off. I don't want to talk to you. To find the capacity inside to talk so beautifully about another human being is why I wanted to do this video today. Because I know that's you. And I know you're funny, and I know you're so kind and so caring. So that's what today was about. She was so nervous, you have no idea. Not about Nicole. You're good at talking about Nicole, if that makes sense. You're shit at talking about yourself. After today, that's going to change. Jackie Fox, thank you so much for doing Coffee with Gary, and I really, really hope that everyone at home enjoyed it. Jackie, say goodbye.
Goodbye, and thank you so much.
Jacqueline! Go and give me a hug. Do it. You have to go on your knees. Look, so the camera can see it. Come over here. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you so much.
Love you.